Hello and welcome to this week's podcast, the Kabbalistic Astrology. So with the weekly update from Matt, I am currently in London and we're going to tell you a little bit what's going on energetic-wise this week. We're going to tell you what the stars and the planets do so you can maneuver yourself better with the high tides and low tides of your life. Welcome, Matt. How are you this week?
I'm glad that you're in London and you're having a little bit of a holiday and a nice time. Yeah, it's great. Awesome. Yeah. I'm here in Barcelona. We're still in t-shirts and shorts here.
Good for you.
Which is a little unusual. I'm happy with that. I'm going to take it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So yes, nice here in Barcelona as well. Let's start with a recap of the month that we're in. We're in the lunar cycle of Libra. Libra is all about feeling in your balance, in your fairness, in your equilibrium of life. So, it's very much a month of being peaceful and tranquil, and the energy is very calm. Yeah. So it's very high, so this is a very lovely month. It's usually not with a lot of challenges in the month alone, but if you look at the rest of the planets, they certainly will bring certain challenges to the month. So so this is a month where we're really in our diplomacy, mediation, resuming or finding resolutions in things that are broken or upset or need analysis, and finding out where the nice middle ground is. So this is a very middle ground month. Yeah. Those people who are born Librans, they're usually a little bit, with the relationships, they like to be at one in their relationships, find that they're in unity with people. So they often analyze that quite a lot, and that is their strength and their weakness over analysis of relationships, pleasing, not being able to move forward because they can't make a decision, those sorts of things. So here, to go against the energy, we're really looking at maybe we need to confront things a little bit more and not just fall into ignoring it, or maybe we need to make a decision and not just overanalyze, and also to really form a plan of action. That's what Librans won't do because they compromise too much. Yeah, so they're the pleasing compromises and sort of confrontation adverse. No, so we do need to push a little bit in this month to make something happen. So that is kind of the strength and the challenges always wrapped up in one. The ruler of Libra is Venus. Venus is actually in Libra right now, so that's super exciting. So we're getting a lot of Libran energy. So this is helping us where there's discord, find harmony, where there is separation, find unity, where there is argument, find peace, where there is imbalance in our day, find the tranquil balance zone. So it's super helping us with this. Also, it's boosting the relationship energy. Although Venus rules different things like finances, health, body, all of these things, all of these very earthy things. Libra is really heightened on the relationship side of it. So it's really looking at, the relationships.
I like to hear that.
Where when the Venus is with the Taurus, it's more focused on the body and the finance. Here in Libra, it's more related to the health and the relationships, and healthy relationships in particular. So the different aspects of Venus get augmented, heightened in the two different signs that it rules, but this one is more with the relationships and the health. So here we're looking at sort of where can I find new harmonies where there's discord in particular? Where are we finding discord in the chart? So here we still have the Saturn Uranus square. It's been 4 or 5 times in the past 18 months. The first one really generated all of that riots in the US and taking over the White House. And there was, a lot of grinding and a lot of upset and upheaval. And here we have the same. So transitions are never easy. Transitions are always difficult. And this is what Uranus-Saturn squares bring. They bring discordant transitions, upheavals of things that are changing. So at the time in the US, there was a change of a change of president, and one president wasn't accepting the result, and the people thought it was, it was a coup and whatever. And we all saw it, and it played out. Now, very similarly, you're in London, the same thing is happening in London.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Right. So we've just had a transition of a new government. Its first couple of weeks were diabolical. They had 80 seat majority in the parliament. Now they're down to about 20% popularity. Like, they've fallen in the polls, the markets have fallen out, the pound is on the run. Yeah, all of the stock markets are all over the place. Pension funds have collapsed in value. Their mini budget was terrible. So all of these Venus things around money and relationships and, health of things and, has all collapsed, where it should be a month where it's all coming together. So here, this Saturn Uranus is really looking at where things are not in balance, where things are discordant, and bringing up this whole energy. Also, I mean, we have seen this over the 18 months, it's not new, but also these uprisings in France, these manifestations in France have also been, coming up again and again. So we will see, even in our own lives, where we're transitioning, like we're trying to find a new way of doing things. It's not going to be easy. There's going to be difficulty, there's going to be challenges, because all of the transitions that we want to do are bringing up a lot of things for us. Yeah. So here, the soul, we just look at it from the soul's perspective. It's in its first month, even though we're in the 7th astrological month of Libra, we're in the soul's first month, and it's transitioning over. So the whole transition into its new karmic year is not even smooth. Like, many things will be changing, but erratically upset. And with this Libran energy, we need to find and push for the harmony, but also not be comfortable. Yeah. So this is what it's doing. It's pushing us on with discomfort. To break new ground, you have to be uncomfortable. But also we need to find where the middle ground is. So, for example, if I draw a physical example with this government in the UK, they had the new Prime Minister, the new Chancellor were both of the same thinking. And now the treasurer was sacked, and she's brought in a treasurer from the other side of her party, it's still the same party, but the other kind of side, not so extreme as her. And this is kind of creating a balance. And what we're already seeing, even on his day one, is all of the pound going up, all of the financial systems recalibrating, all of the markets gathering around this and supporting him. So it's all kind of where we need to maybe find two opposites almost, to find a middle ground, to find that harmony in between. This is relationships. Like, Kabbalists talk about relationships a lot, and they have this phrase that they come from over the seas, which, when you decode it, it usually means that the person that we need to be with is very different to us. Usually they're older, or they're from a different background, or they're from a different perspectives, or they're from different classes. Something about us seems so peculiarly different. That how could these two people be together? And this is very interesting, this concept coming from over the seas. So it's almost like in our relationships or the things we're doing, we need to bring in the opposite to create the balance. Mm-hmm. And this is what the energy seems to be pushing us to do.
Yeah, for me, it's a very this month of Libra. What I see in myself, but it's a very mystical month. I see there's a lot of when you're in balance yourself, when you're staying in a very balanced life, that there's a big opening to mystical teachings and mystical knowledge and transmissions, which is really interesting, I think. It's also like, I don't know, is this also the month of Halloween and all of that, of the
Yes, it's interesting you say that, because Libra is also, because it's the bridge, It's or the balance.
That makes so much sense.
Yes, it links us between the physical and the metaphysical world.
That makes so much sense, because that's
also
what I
holds in the secret, like dimension jumping, like being able to pull things down from the physical or a different dimension into your reality. On the very esoteric, mystical side of Libra, it has the ability to go up and pull down.
Yes, that's exactly what I feel. I feel this month, since like a week, it's getting more and more intense. It's a super, super charged month. If you're in balance, then you're able to receive so much new knowledge and insights into your channel. And that's what I feel. And what I see with my clients is that there's a certain amplification within relationships of the imbalance within yourself, and the part of you that feels sorry for you, that is like
pity.
It's the self-pity part, which is super amplified at the moment, what I see. And I think that makes so much sense, because there is a part of us that is still in victimhood mentality sometimes. And this is, for me, the month to really, really go deep within that, within this. I always call it the me personality part.
Yes, it's true. This can happen because of the as I said before, when you give away your power to another person, that's it. So in the month of usually in the month of, I mean, it's a great point what you say. The month of Libra, it's about relationships, but Librans tend to put their power with the other person too much. So they lose themselves in relationships. It's a paradox that they're thinking about them so much that they actually lose themselves in all of that thought and tend to give themselves to others. So, they think they need to compromise or give up who they are in order to make the relationship work. So it's about here, I love what you was talking about, because in the month of relationships, we need to understand that sometimes two differences or two different people actually work together very well, but that's uncomfortable, right? And what the Libran, because it's ruled by Venus, is looking for is similarities and balance through being the same. Of course, it's good to have similarities, but it's often through that discord or discomfort that we grow, that we change, that we transition, that we move on to different things. So they have to learn to confront where there's difference.
Totally.
So that's to work that out. So you could find yourself in this month actually having losing the plot or sounding off or whatever. But for a Libran, that's very, very uncomfortable. But trying to resolve is what they're good at, but having the argument is not what they're good at, right? So it's confrontation for the point of coming together is really good. So it's combining confrontation to unify, not to separate. That's kind of the challenge.
From an astrological point of view, would you say that when a person looks at her own chart at home, that the house you have in Libra is the more important thing, or is it like, where is your Venus that you would more?
It's good. It's a good question. Like, you have to look at all three in the round. So what is your Venus doing? What is Libra doing? What planets are there? Where is it? And your seventh house. So, you have to look at those three things in the round. There's a few other things, but, if you've got a basic understanding of astrology, those are the three things that you need to.
I'm sure we have some experts that listen to our podcast, so we want to give them all the time a little
something. No?
Yeah, so they can go and, become better. I think that's so important also to, like, especially because it's such a mystical month. I feel that there is an opening also for understanding, like, there's a deeper opening for understanding certain connections between things, like patterns. I think that because what I do at the moment with my clients, I constantly explain patterns at the moment. Like, I analyze patterns with them, and I tell them, look, you need to learn to analyze yourself, and you analyze yourself through seeing your own patterns and through going back and like, okay, but where did I see this pattern first? When did it install itself? How can I resolve that? And that has a lot to do with analytics. And I think the mystical arts sometimes look very random, but they're not. It's always and very often repetition of the same. So
yeah, I think your point about understanding, just that word in itself is very Libran, because what happens here is the energy that is happening connects us up to a point in the cosmos called Bina, which is like one of the 10 sephirots in Kabbalah, one of the 10 power points of energy. So if you can imagine energy coming from outside the cosmos down into our universe by a cord, and along that cord are 10 power points that are diffusing the energy, so that we can receive it. It's too high. Now we need to receive the energy filtered down. And one of those filters is called Bina. And in the month of Libra, we're very connected to that power point, that socket of energy, which is all to do with understanding. It's all to do with something.
So much sense.
So you can get understanding of things on a lot higher level.
Yes.
And the analytics is also a great point, because it's the only sign ruled by an object. So we're objectifying things. We're not emotionally attached to things. We can kind of understand and objectify where we're at in our lives without any reaction to it, without emotional reactions or thoughts. We can see from an ego perspective without being in it. So we get to lift up and really see. So this understanding and this analysis of where we're at is a super good point. Yes. And this is why, because we're really connected into the energy of understanding in this month.
Yeah. And I what I also feel is like there is for all of you that is like a little bit into the spiritual, mystical, woo-woo stuff. It's a great month with very amplified energies in healing relationships. And I feel when you like either the relationship to yourself, the relationship to your parents comes up a lot at the moment, or like actual relationships that you are in. And there I see especially communication issues. Like, am I able to communicate my deepest my feelings? Am I able to connect within myself to the things that I have? Because what I see at the moment is a lot that, sometimes you love someone and you do love someone, but you're disconnected from that feeling within yourself, and then you cannot communicate it anymore. So that's what I see a lot at the moment, because of fear. Because I also feel that at the moment that I think it's the square energy that is there, which is like really like giving people more fear than I usually see. It's also maybe because it's autumn in the northern hemisphere as well, but there's kind of this fear of more darkness. There's this fear of like not being so happy anymore. There's this fear of being lonely, not connected, disconnected, and a lot of people have that. And for me, a connection is, if you want to have a crystal that helps you with that could be either you could take a crystal which is very dual, like the snowflake obsidian, which has white and black in it, or you could go for a rose quartz, which is always super, super nice and super supporting in these energies. But make sure you don't have them in your bedroom, because they won't let you sleep.
Okay, great. No, that's really super useful. I love that. So if you've got some crystals there, it's awesome. Just two other quick things, that are with the energies at the moment. Jupiter is retrograding. There are 4 retrograde planets at the moment: Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Jupiter is retrograding back into Pisces. So at the beginning of this year, at the end of last year, around November, December, Jupiter went into into Pisces. And so it was in Pisces up until about June, July. Then it went into Aries, and then it started to retrograde in July or August, and now it's coming back out of Aries back into Pisces. Yeah, so we had a little Jupiter in Aries over the summer, gave us a little bit of fire energy that we haven't had for years, and we had it for 3 months.
Good.
I know. So when I talk about we didn't have it, I mean with these bigger planets like Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, they're just not in fire at all, right? So we have no creativity, no spark, no growth, no new things. It's just on and on with the same stuff for 2019, 2020, 2021. People say, when's this going to end, right? So we're going back into where Jupiter was in a water sign, Pisces. Now Neptune's in there as well. So Neptune and Pisces, and Neptune and Jupiter rule Pisces together. They'll be both in their planets. Because Jupiter is retrograding, we'll go back into ourselves in all that big spiritual wave that we had, before is coming back again. So we'll want to see things, from a transcendent, unified, spiritual perspective.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, just in the 1% down here in the physical reality, this also means things get inflated. So inflation started to kick in. These two planets also rule over gas, right? So we will see more of the energy stuff, more of the energy crisis, inflation crisis, all of that, right? We're also false gurus, so interestingly, this week there was a podcaster. He was very, very popular in the US, and he kind of got groomed by the Trumps and the kind of conspiracy theorist aspect of that campaign that went through it. And he's changed his podcast into becoming more and more conspiratorial, which boosted him. He got so popular. But what's happened in the courts, which is really interesting in the month of Libra, is that they found that a lot of his podcasts were connected to people who went out and did the Sandy Brook or Sandy Hook shootings, other shootings. So all of these conspiracy theorists, they're able now to link with many, or not all, but some very severe crimes. And all of the people that were killed, their families now have to be paid, like something like he's been sued for $1 billion. Like, we're not talking small amounts of money, $1 billion. So I remember talking about conspiracy theories a lot on this podcast.
I remember too.
Saying and talking about the negativity that these people, create in the system when you're coming with unsubstantiated information and you're telling people things that are, you're making up about, So this has happened a lot. There's been a lot of, sort of back pushing against conspiracy theory podcasters out there. I mean, Spotify's cancelled a lot of people, so on and so on. But this one is a big case. $1 billion he's been sued because his podcasts have incited people to go out and do, killings, to pick up guns and shoot kids. Yeah, or shoot people in pizza things because of all of that. Remember the pizza thing with the boys being used and girls used. It was all a big conspiracy theory rabbit hole that people could go down. And this is what also incited a lot of political twisting with the virus, with all of that as well, so that's how easily people can be manipulated through conspiracy theories. They're extremely dangerous in this system. They're not positive, they're not real. What's really interesting also is that at that time, this podcaster was being filmed to make a movie. Anyway, the guy who was making the film has come out and said, you know what, he didn't even really believe those things, but because they made him so much money, he was willing to go out and do it. So really insightful information about, these people, about who they're backed by, who they're funded by. You just need to follow the money. And you will see that a lot of conspiracy theorists are supported by lobby groups, by politicians, by the whole thing. And that's how the United States really fell into this hole that it's now in, where everybody is so separated. And that's what I said conspiracy theories do. They separate. That's why the Egyptians really meditated against the energies. A lot of their positive things that Egyptians and Babylonians, really wanted to eradicate out when they had big empires, was conspiracy theories, because it's the very thing that will pull an empire down. Now, let's look at it 2 years on, about all these people that fell into the virus conspiracy theories, the politician conspiracy theories, all of that. Yeah. And now look at the United States and where it's at. It's completely divided. Families barely speak to each other if they're on political divides. So, it pulls people apart in communities. It's killing people. People put up weapons for this. So, I just wanted to say that because, because when you're talking about it a year or two in advance, you don't really know how it's going to pan out. You just know that this is what the energies will do. But, just to pull back to that, I think that that's really important to see. So Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces helps highlight these false gurus, these false prophets, these false people that are talking about things they don't know about in order to advance their own selves. Yeah, they're just making things up. That's why I like Kabbalah, because it's, it's so structured and it's so connected to wisdom, that I have a good frame of how to operate in this world, because there are people out there who are going to twist it and turn it and make themselves something that they're not. So this energy helps with Jupiter being in retrograde. It's helping people bring back to false gurus. The other thing is Pluto is going forward. So Pluto direct now, which means that we have a lot of more ability to regenerate, to transform, to go forward, to grow, to elevate, to take control more, to push. Yeah. So those are great. So those are the two things that are helping us out in getting a lot of clarity about where we want to go forward, really trying to tune into our own selves and not what people around us that may have alternative agendas are trying to get us to say.
I think there is a lot of different types of agendas, and what I feel with these false gurus or with these conspiracy theorists, I really like them because I think they're fun. I think it's fun I have the mental capacity to let someone think something completely different than I think and still feel, okay, that's an interesting thought process and I can see where that person's coming from. But you need a certain kind of neuron velocity, a certain kind of intelligence to really get what they do and to understand that. And of course, I'm not really easily influenced, but what I see is that the question is always, why are you a false guru? Why do you use conspiracy theory in your life? And from what I see is what happens is that people that use conspiracy theory to make money, even though they know that this is what they do and they lie about it. So whenever you try to manipulate a group of people or people in general with negativity, that's what is being seen at the moment. That's what I see.
Yes, it comes into our own lives for sure.
Yes, and I see a lot of in Switzerland, we have some of some coaching women and some women that do light work and all of that. And there's a lot of multi-channel marketing going on with some products, and they promote these products, but in the background they sometimes know that these products don't really work, but they want to make the money, and that is being seen at the moment. People are exposed when their reasons for deeply doing something are not kosher, are not honest, and not pure. And I think that is what is being revealed. That's it, isn't it? If you do something for the money, and if you really do not understand that you're taking the money out of the pocket of people just because you want more, I feel that is what's been seen in this Jupiter, Neptune, and Pisces.
Yes, absolutely.
Through the reasons.
Absolutely. Yeah,
and it's not
very good.
only
I mean, it comes
conspiracy
through in
theory.
people.
It's
That's right.
also false healing products, false vitamins, false nourishment stuff, like all that is false, and you know that this is not right what you do, you're being seen.
I think so as well. Like these false gurus are not just people; they're things that you give power to that you think are going to help you, even though they're not. You know, they're kind of not real or don't feel real. It's super good. It's super good take on it to share.
Yeah.
All right, so we are going to get a lot of clarity this month. I hope in these next couple of weeks, and we will see this kind of. But also you could see it and still be engaged with it. But I think some people still with the heart, but that's where they're at, But just to be aware that all of these false guru things are going to pop up in our reality, and we'll be able to see them for what they are, which I think is super good.
And I think that's amazing because I don't really think there is a false guru. I think there are people that want to hear certain things because they're in a certain point in their life, and then they find a person that tells them that.
Yes.
You cannot make the person a false guru if you don't have a resonance to it. So I don't want to make the guru the villain and the person following that guru the victim, because it's just resonance. They find each other like the moth finds the light. This is just like attraction. They believe the same things, and then they attract each other, and then they're with each other.
Yeah, then they're with each other. Yeah.
But so I don't want to make the people following them the victims and the others the villains. It's just like, if you don't like what you see in your own life, then you need to change stuff. You cannot change with the same techniques, with the same ideas, with the same ways. Like if you don't like how you wake up in the morning because you're tired and you're not unfulfilled, well, try some different shits. Move your bed around, get some crystals for protection, eat something before you go to sleep, eat 3 times a day. If you don't like your mental state, like get a therapist, I don't know, but change something. And you cannot expect a different outcome with the same behavior. Like we all know that. And so I think that's what's going on at the moment. People follow people for a long time, and then they see like, but my life is not changing to the positive. Well, they don't follow these people anymore, and follow people that do change shit in their life, and then look what they do. Like
lead by example.
Role models.
I like that.
Yeah. Okay, that was wonderful. Thank you very much, guys, for listening. We're back next week, so we don't leave you alone in this Libran nightmare of relationship chaos. We will be back. I will still be in London, but we'll have more information about Glastonbury and Avalon and healing waters up there. So yes, I get the mystical downloads, I guess so. We wish you a wonderful week, and we hope you do well, and let us know how you are. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.